Yeah! Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps. I'm your host, Art Carlson. We've got a special show today. Unfortunately, I'm the only Gimp today. Um, Lloyd is on vacation or hiatus for about a month. And Mike had some other engagement. So it's just me, and Kai couldn't make it because he had another engagement that he had to attend to. So today we are going to talk about Star Trek. How woke has it got? It is crazy. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I've been watching it. Well, I started watching it when it first came out back in '66, but I was pretty young. I don't remember too much about it, but when it was in reruns during the '70s and '80s, I watched it quite a bit, and I was a huge fan. And when the motion picture came out and all the new uh, movies came out with the original cast, I was excited. And then we got the new series. We got the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, which I think is my favorite. Voyager, which is pretty good, and Enterprise, which is a prequel to the original series, going back to the first uh, operational Starship Enterprise. So, uh, when the next generation started, I noticed it got a little more woke. And by the time they got to Deep Space Nine, they started to move into, homosexual relationships. And, eh, you know, that doesn't bother me. As long as they write uh, good material and it's a good episode, I don't care. I don't care what people do in their own private business. I'm not one of these, you know, religious nuts that think, oh, it's a sin, no, it should be punished. No, I'm not like that. I'm the kind of guy that live and let live and just let them do whatever they want. But then when Discovery came about, I noticed they were really pushing, the alternate lifestyles in your face. So then, uh, not only do you have gay characters, but now they have binary characters. And I'm like, oh. And then here we are in the fourth season of Discovery. And it's the last episode of the season. And on YouTube, I subscribe to what's called Trek Culture. And what they do is they talk about all the series. And they have one segment called Trek Culture. They that's the name of their channel. They do what they call ups and downs, where they rate each episode with an up or a down. And this week's one, and I watch it so I could kind of get an idea of what the episode's going to be about. And that's when I found out that Stacy Abrams was going to be one of the characters in the episode. And in case you don't know who, yeah, that's right, Mike. Yep. Or no one has gone. You don't know who Stacey Abrams is. She uh, was the Democrat that ran for governor unsuccessfully. Um, she's a socialist, Marxist, very racist, and ever since she lost her race, she's been going on a tour around the country, just saying, just basically lying about conservative views. Anyone who thinks that photo ID should be required to vote, they're a racist. They want to suppress the vote. So, she's also a fan of Star Trek, and so what she did is she called up, Paramount and said, "Hey, I'm a big fan of Star Trek, and I really would like to be on an episode." So they did. They made her the president of Earth. So in the final 3 minutes of the episode, after the Starship Discovery has rescued Earth and Navarre from the dangerous uh, weapon that came from outside the galaxy. So and by the way, Navarre is a new name for Vulcan because this takes place 800 years in the future, where the Romulan star has gone nova, so Romulus is gone. That planet's gone. So all the folks from Romulus, they've just kind of spread out throughout their former empire, and they have reunited with Vulcan and renamed the planet Navarre. Anyway, so that gives you a little update on what's going on there. So luckily, I watched this episode of Trek Culture's Ups and Downs, so I got a warning about this episode. So in the last few minutes where the presidential shuttle lands on the Discovery, that's when I go, boop, I turned it off. Because I don't want, I mean, this person is totally opposite of what Gene Roddenberry believed in. Because Gene Roddenberry, he was pro American and he was pro cop. Because if, as you don't know, prior to Star Trek, he was a writer for some of the westerns and he was a writer for Dragnet. So Stacy Abrams, Marxist Socialist, anti-police. She's part of the defund the police crowd, and so it just killed me that Paramount not they're just going along with this uh, cancel culture wokeness gets this person on the show. I mean, it was bad enough that they brought back Whoopi Goldberg to play Guinan in the Picard series. So, so Mickey says he canceled TV and cable TV, and then okay, yep, that's right. And I don't have cable here. The only thing I have is Roku, and I'm a subscriber to Paramount Plus, which has all the Star Trek series. So if I wanted to, I could go back and watch every episode of the original series and all those other series. So when Star Trek Discovery came around, first couple of years I wasn't too crazy about it because they they changed the look of the Klingon, and it's like, why did you do that? And the storylines just didn't do anything for me. But by the time the third season came around, and so they went from, this was at the time the original series started. So they, you know, they went into the future because uh, the technology that they were using would, well, destroy uh, the timeline. So they went into the future, and now they're working with the new Starfleet, trying to get all the remnants of all the Federation uh, representatives back. Anyway, so I started watching that, and it just really stuck in my craw. So what I did was I went to Trek Culture, and in the comment section, I just pointed out, uh, this person that I mean, you could do whatever you want. I don't, but basically what I said was, uh, this person is a Marxist socialist, and she's defunding the police, and I explained to her that she was totally opposite of what Gene Roddenberry's vision was. His vision was, kind of the wagon train to the star, to explore new places and expand their knowledge, and and offer any help that some civilizations might be in dire need of some help. They would help them. But what Stacy Abrams represents is totally opposite, because if you think about it, Stacey Abrams would not want a federation because, well, Democrats, they pretty much think that exploring space is a waste of time. They think it's a waste of resources because they want that money to be allocated to their social program. So they don't like the military. They think we ought to disband the military and the police, and they don't like the space program. So they want to allocate all that money and pretty much expand government to make it even bigger. So, and not only that, Stacey Abrams was booked by the Comedy Works here in Denver to, you know, give a speech or perform or whatever she does at the Paramount Theater. And it wasn't a comedy show. And from what I understand, I didn't hear too much about it because I sure, I sure didn't see anything in the media or, yes, it is Mirstachi. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed this episode. This show is about conservative values and uh, what's going on in uh, in culture and in the political realm. So I saw this, and it just really disappointed me that one of my favorite uh, shows is taking a left turn and just basically crapped all over a good product. I mean, it was the same thing with, I don't know if you watch this uh, sitcom called Mom, and they brought in Rosie O'Donnell. And I go, oh, I'm done. I'm done. So I stopped watching Rosie O'Donnell. Now I rarely ever watch any network TV because I get more enjoyment out of YouTube than I do with regular TV. The this is a YouTube. No, it's not a premiere. It's a weekly talk show that I do with two other hosts who couldn't be with us today because they had other things to do. So, and so that's what's going on. It just seems like all the shows on television. It, it's all about alternate lifestyles, which is fine with me. That's what they want to do, and their ratings can support it. That's fine. And okay, let's get rid of this guy. We've got a troll. Yeah, there we go. Goodbye. Bye, Aaron, or whatever that knucklehead's name is. He's out of here. All right, must mean that my show is getting some views out there. So maybe this might be one of my episodes that one of my shows that gets a lot of views for a change. So one of the things about YouTube that I like is I'm a big fan of WKRP and Tim Reed, who played Venus Flytrap, does a uh, a vlog on YouTube. And I really enjoyed that because if you don't know Tim Reed, he was in a, a duo with Tom Dreesen called Tim and Tom Show. And they were the first and only uh, black and white comedy duo. And they started back in 68, 69. And I'm like, holy cow, that was way before there were any real comedy clubs around. I mean, you played nightclubs, and, like the Playboy Club was a circuit because there used to be Playboy clubs all over the country. I believe Denver had one, Kansas City, uh, Chicago, New York, Atlanta. Uh, they, they were all over. So the comedians like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Woody Allen, all those guys put. Oh, Stephen Crowder, hey, thank you. Wow, that's awesome. I got Stephen Crowder in the chat. If this is the real Stephen Crowder, that is awesome. So the first real full time comedy club, I believe, was the Improv out of New York, and then Second City. I think they started in Chicago back in the late '60s, mid to late '60s. But I mean, if you're into comedy and you want to learn about the history of comedy, I mean, go check out Tim Reed on YouTube. Okay, Jay from Orlando is well, it's basically an American show, but I'm a supporter of the people of Ukraine in their struggle with the war that they're in with Russia. Jay, thanks for coming. Hopefully, you'll enjoy this. And Stephen, if you like this channel, please tell people about this. I'm My disability is I was born with a disability. My other co-host, Lloyd Mendenhall, um, he has MS, and then Mike Roach has he's a quadriplegic. So, oh, Carlos, hey, thank you. Somebody helped out and deleted Carlos. All right, so we're hitting up on those radicals. Yeah, you know, it kills me. All these people that you you're conservative, you're evil. We gotta stop you. We can't have your thoughts uh, go out on the airwaves. We gotta suppress you. We gotta cancel you. That's like these idiots on college campuses that don't want. Oh, okay. I didn't think so. Yeah, but hey, well, somebody came and so they'll probably go around saying, oh, there's a three conservative camp. We gotta cancel. We can't have that." So now that okay, well, thank you, Chris, for letting me. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you, Mike B and Chris. Randolph Vance, what's your opinion? Tom Gully and Merch. I don't know too much about those folks, but I will look them up later after the show. By the way, Randolph, this is a 1 hour program. Well, usually an hour. Sometimes with my other co hosts, we go over a little bit. But it's hammer time. Thanks, Chris. Oh, where was it? Oh, yeah. So I started as a stand up comic back in 1984, and that's when I began my journey into comedy. Uh, Started going to open mics at the comedy club and then the comedy works here in Denver and uh, build up my material and got to a point where I advanced to where the club started to book me to do the regular shows. At first, I was an MC and build up more material, and then I started to become a middle act where I got to do more than 5 minutes. So I got to do 10 to 15 minutes of material. And then after I graduated, I decided, you know what? Let's give this comedy thing a whirl. Let's take it out on the road and start working at clubs around the country. And that's what I did. And I worked my way up, and I was uh, just starting to break into some headline work. And then the comedy world really got saturated with comedians to where, well, you only have X amount of rooms to work and you got all of these comedians, and it just got harder and harder to uh, find work. So I decided, hey, back in 1995, I went and got a regular job. But I still did comedy on the side where I would do some weekend gigs or three three-nighters, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows outside of Colorado. And I would work it out to where I could use some vacation time and say, hey, boss, can I take these days off? Sure. So they were really good about that. And then I did that. And then it got to a point where even here in Denver, I was getting less and less work unless I wanted to do just one nighters around town. And I just got tired. And one of the things that really got me to get a regular day job is I saw a lot of comedian friends of mine who got sick or into auto accidents, and they didn't have any health insurance. So they were, they weren't stuck between the. We are just. This guy, boy, they're just coming out of the woodwork today. Man, oh boy, where are these trolls coming from? So after 9/11, that's when the comedy scene really changed. And, you know, the leftists, that's when the cancel culture started to come around. And, all of my, the comics I used to look up to that I was friends with here in Denver, they just started to shun me because, you know, and then after Obama got elected, boy, that just, all my friends, I was friends with them on Facebook and blah, 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 blah. I didn't want that evil Republican on my. I guess they got tired of me telling them that, hey, Democrats hate the Constitution, they hate the First Amendment, they hate the Second Amendment, and hey guys, you need to. Oh, hey, great, thank you, moderators out there, all those moderators. Wow. And so after, if you didn't have the same views they did, that they just thought you were either stupid or you were evil. So just say, okay, whatever. You know. So I moved on from that, and now with YouTube, I got this gives me a platform. Jeez Louise, man. Oh boy, this is amazing. They are just really coming out today. I guess it's because uh, uh, I really went after a couple of Star Trek YouTube channels that really promoted Stacy Abrams. Hey, I told them I went and used three conservative gimps to say, hey, this is what I think about this episode. Alrighty, so let's go on to our next topic. We're going to talk about the assemblies. Yesterday was the county assembly. So, hey, this is where you guys get to learn how the sausage is gets made in state and local politics. Um, Republican Party here in Colorado. What you do is every March, every couple of years, they have what's called a caucus, and your precinct goes to a designated area that's either elementary school, church, or high school, and you meet with uh, other people that are in your precinct. And what you do is you decide who wants to be a delegate or an alternate to the different assemblies. And that's what an assembly is. That's where you get to choose the candidate to either, if there's more than one candidate, you could choose the ones that you like, and they go to onto a primary. And the primary is in June. And but if it's just one candidate, then they win by acclamation, and they go on to the general ballot, which is in November. So Louis the Cat. Okay, uh, scratch that cat with a brick. Oh, good. Oh, righty. Thank you. Thank you. Got rid of that guy. So yesterday was the county assembly. And this is where I got to choose uh, the candidates that are going to be running in the county. I'm in Jefferson County, which is one of the counties in the Metro Denver area. So I get to pick uh, uh, people to run for state house and state senate, and then I get to pick county commissioner candidates, state county assessor, county treasurer, county clerk and recorder. Coroner. I get to pick a coroner too. So let's see. Boy, we are just really getting slammed with all the trolls today. So, uh, wow, look at that. Thank you, Mickey, for getting rid of that idiot. Yeah, yeah, more Joe Biden fans. That's right. So there are two more assemblies. There's going to be the congressional assembly, to where I get to choose the candidate of my choice for. I'm in congressional district 7, which was held, well, it's still held by a Democrat, Ed Perlmutter. But since redistricting, his district is more Republican, so it's very competitive. So I think it's D+1. So it just marginally leans Democrat. So, and with this red wave that I think is going to hit in November, we got a really good chance of taking this district. So, with that in mind, Ed Perlmutter decided he's going to retire. This is his last term. So, he's endorsed a former state representative, Brittany Pedersen. and she is quite the radical left. Yeah, you're right, Mike. Nope. And folks, uh, this is what the leftists do. They want to shut you down. They don't want you to get your ideas out. So if their ideas were so good, uh, they wouldn't have to resort to something like this. So that that shows you how uh, bad that their ideas and values are. Because if they really think they're the end all to be all, then why stoop to this? You know, if their ideas are that great, why go down the road of shutting down uh, opposite views, or why resort to violence or intimidation? So to me, that tells me that these people uh, are not confident in what their views are. So they gotta shut down anybody that has views that aren't like theirs. So I mean, you could go all the way back to World War I, especially World War II, when um, you got two socialist groups. You got uh, the fascists, and then you have the communists, which are, really on the same side, but they're competing against each other because one one side of the same coin over there to the to the left. Sorry, the left is over here. They're competing over their ideas, and they hate each other. And but it's funny, you don't see it over here on the right. Like you don't see libertarians and oh, other hard right people. You don't see those people resorting to violence and shutting down the right. I mean, yeah, they have disagreements with each other. We have different stripes of conservatism. We've got right of center, and then we have moderate right wing, and then you have hard right, and then you have, you go way out there and you have anarchy, which they believe in no government. Where you go right of center, you have smaller and smaller view of government. You go left of center, you get bigger and bigger government. And those people, uh, they are about stopping people from succeeding because they want uh, everybody to be equal. Actually, they don't want any equality, they want equity, which means, you know, we'll have all the people that are the same, except people that run the government. They get to be above those people. So basically, they want it to be more like the feudal system, where you have the serfs, and then hey Jim, good to see you. And I mean, if you look at back to the olden days when the monarchs ran their empires, what they had was they had what's called guilds, which is what we call unions these days, where you had to, pay to be in this guild. Say you were a silversmith, so you had to pay a certain percentage to have that uh, guild marking on your business. Or say you're a coppersmith, or a blacksmith, or a carpenter. I mean, they had all kinds of different guilds, and they were there to keep uh, certain people from getting too rich and powerful. So basically, Marxism and socialism is just it's just a new name on feudalism and serfdom. So anyway, so the last assembly, which I'm a delegate for, by the way, I was the only person in my precinct to show up at caucus. So I got to be a delegate to all the assemblies. But oh, but I won't be able to go to the congressional assembly because they decided to have it the day before the state assembly in Colorado Springs. And I can't go to that one because I'm working that day. So they're going to have the state assembly down in Colorado Springs at the World Arena. What you do there is you get to pick the candidates you like for Senate, and these are for statewide races: governor, treasurer, state treasurer, and secretary of state, attorney general. I think that's about it. So, what? Just like all the assemblies, you have all the candidates. They go up. They say, we have Mister So and So or Miss So and So is running for this office. And what they do is they have a couple people. Um, they're part of their uh, group that will nominate them for the position, and then the candidate goes up and gives a speech, and they give a really good speech, uh, or it's very uh, well worded and is really has a nice uh, tight uh, flow to it. People will go, "Oh, yeah, I agree with that," and it sounds really good. And if they have the backing, yeah, people will choose them. And then what? After they give their speech, then the county chairperson will say, "That was candidate so and so." Um, if they're the only candidate for that race, what they'll do is they'll say, all in favor of candidate so and so for this position, say aye, and then everybody says, anybody that says no, and they'll say the ayes have it, or someone will second it, and they'll say the ayes have it. This person wins by acclamation. They will go on the general ballot. However, things can change because there is another way you can get on the ballot. where what you do is you could petition to be on the ballot. And that's what one of the Senate candidates did is prior to the assembly, they went out and they went to, and since the Senate candidate, that's a statewide race. They have to go around the state, collect enough signatures, and what you do is you get to a certain point where they say, all right, you need this many signatures, valid signatures, to get on the ballot. So what they do is they get more than enough just in case some of those signatures are not valid or those people don't live in that district. So it looks like candidate Joe O'Day has made it on the primary ballot. So there are, I think, about 5 or 6 other candidates who decided to go through the state assembly. So when you have multiple candidates like that, the threshold to get onto the ballot is 10%. But if you're under 30%, I think you need to get to petition on. So with that many candidates, uh, you may end up with several candidates getting enough to get over the threshold to be on the primary ballot. But what could happen is you can have one candidate that gets 40%, and the rest of the other candidates kind of split it up amongst themselves where none of those candidates can get on the ballot. So then you could end up with 2 people on the primary ballot, possibly 3 people. Or if somebody gets really lucky, there might be 4 people on the primary ballot. So that's how it works in the Republican Party. Now, what's different between the Republican and the Democrat Party is uh, delegates have to pay to be you have to pay to be a delegate in one or more of the other assemblies. And if you're an alternate, then your price is half of what a delegate would pay. Just in case the delegate can't make it, an alternate will be chosen to replace that person. On the Democrat side, it's all free. That is because, well, they got all these unions that they could pay for all the facilities and all the administrative costs. So that's why uh, all of their assemblies are free. So that's how that. So Martin O'Malley, okay, all right. Well, this is a replay of last live show. Well, I don't even recognize you from. How do you know this is a replay? Have you been watching any of these shows, Mr. O'Malley? So that so that's how the state assemblies. So now you guys get a an idea of how candidates are selected to go to the general. No content. Oh boy, we got another troll. Now it's different from state to state, such as in Michigan, if you're running for a congressional seat, uh, there is no assembly, so you have to petition to get on the ballot. So, like I said before, you just go through your district and you get enough signatures plus, I would say, 25 to 50% and of above that. And then you have enough signatures that you have enough valid signatures to get on the ballot. Yes, it is, Mr. O'Malley. And every 4 years, we get to choose candidate we like for president. So in 2024 at the state assembly, we will choose the candidate we like to uh, represent our state to be president. And what you do is, like for president, you have to have X amount of win more than you have to win the majority of the primaries to get to be the sole candidate in the general election. That's what Donald Trump did. Now, Donald Trump did not come to Colorado. He campaigned very poorly in Colorado. And Ted Cruz won the primary here in Colorado. So we shall see how that unfolds in 2024. Will Donald Trump run? I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 chance that he does, but I think it would be best that he doesn't. And but he helps support congressional and Senate candidates, and give those candidates his endorsement and help them win in November. So that's how that works. Yeah, I would like Donald. I loved his policies. I loved the way he ran the government. I think he did a lot more as president than his previous Republican president. Look, he got uh, several Muslim nations to sign a peace accord to where they recognize Israel because they have Israel and those Muslim countries have the same enemy, and that is Iran. And so that's why that they call that the Abraham Accords. And well, I think a lot of states in the interim in the last couple of years have tightened up their voting requirements, and I think it'll be much harder for them to cheat in the future. Uh, I every election there is some amount of cheating. Uh, whether it affects the outcome, I kind of doubt. So, all right, guys, we've done an hour of the show, and I've been bloviating for an hour. And I want to thank you guys for coming to the show, and I hope this was informative. Please, spread the word to your like-minded friends and tell them, hey, there's this great YouTube channel that you know really represents our ideals. So uh, go watch this guy. Let's build this channel up. Let's get it up over 200 subscribers. We're at 188, so let's get this up to 200. I like to get up over 1,000 by the end of the year. You're right, Mickey Fauci. There is another variant out there, but we'll see how that shakes out. So, everybody, have a great Sunday. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And see you next week. Bye bye.